General, I'm on Alderaan. Have you heard from Master Orgus?
Negative. Considering the chaos there, it's a wonder any messages get through. Alderaan's a war zone.
Okay, wait. First Ord Mantell, and now Alderaan. Please tell me this isn't going to be a trend with our core worlds, because it's going to make it kind of hard to be an agent of peace when finding out that every frickin' planet we've got is in the middle of a civil war to see if they can side with the Sith.
My people developed a Deathmark weapon to end this conflict with surgical precision.
Extraordinary device. It marks targets with a microscopic tag. Undetectable. Tracks targets anywhere on the planet. Feed the target's coordinates to a focused beam laser, and it can kill them from across a continent.
Oh man, how did you tell me that we have a weapon called Deathmark and still manage to be even worse than what I imagined it was?
Since when is the Republic in the assassination business?
If I can save 1 billion lives by killing one man, I'll gladly pull the trigger.
Yeah, and of course that's the only way that this thing will ever possibly be used once you make it. And while we're talking about things that are definitely an actual reflection of the real world, a cow is a perfect sphere of uniform density.
I fear efforts to guard the weapon have failed.
I'm shocked. Look at my shocked face. This is how I look when I'm so shocked at this news. Jagoffs.
Master Orgus's last transmission came from Organa Palace. After that, nothing. Count Alder was the last to see Master Orgus. He co-funds the Deathmark project with us. I tried informing the Count of your arrival, but communications there have been crippled.
Yeah, it seems one of the Imperial-backed houses is responsible for disrupting communications. So I've got to go down there and try to straighten this whole thing out because they're all too busy fighting each other. So we go and sort out the communications problem so we can finally get some answers about what happened with our death ray.
Count Alda, I'm an associate of Master Orgus Din. I'm here about the Deathmark project.
I mean in an investigatory capacity. This isn't a job interview. Although, out of curiosity, do you have health benefits? Because I get the shit kicked out of me a lot.
I worked at the Deathmark research facility. We were conducting routine tests when Imperial forces breached our security doors. There was a hideous little man with them. A Sith, I think.
Well, Darth Angel did have one more minion at that meeting that we hadn't actually met, so I'm going to guess it's probably him. Well, good news is that Master Orgus showed up and took care of business. Bad news is that it sounds like he fell during all of that.
When the Jedi fell, the Sith summoned reinforcements. But not Imperials. Killiks.
Intelligent man-sized insects living underground. Flesh-eaters. Ghastly things.
Great, so my old master is dead, there's a Sith on the loose, and he's being helped by giant bugs. Any more bad news for me?
The Sith now controls the Deathmark. No telling who he's targeted.
Why did I tempt fate by asking? Should have asked if there was any good news. Wait, what am I saying? The way my month has been going, that probably was the good news.
Win Organa is organizing peace talks with the other houses. It's possible the Sith...
I saw this coming. I so saw this coming. This is enough to make anyone jaded.
You'll live.
I didn't mean quite that jaded, but yeah.
That was the Deathmark laser.
I'm trying not to be sarcastic, but you are not helping me, for crying out loud, like he was shot by some other space-based ray of doom.
The Count. You there! Hands up! Men, take their weapons. Lock down this building.
Oh, now, better just tell him the truth. Look, my good man, quite obviously, this person is the victim of an orbiting death ray. Actually, I may have to come up with another strategy.
Lives are in danger. You'll do anything to help me save Alderaan.
Lives are in danger. I'll do anything to help you save Alderaan.
Okay, maybe that's cheating, but, you know, desperate times and all that. And there's not more desperate when there's a weapon called the Deathmark in the hands of a group of people most famous for killing for, quote, no reason. So it's time to head to the lab to see what we might be able to learn there. Unfortunately, the place has got more bugs than Vista. After having to kill our way past an entire army of giant insects, we finally reach the lab itself and can get some answers. In the end, all Jedi are master of the skill lockpicking. Well, get a load of you not being dead.
Blasted Sith almost killed me. It was all I could do to save Dr. Parvix.
The enemy left us here as food for the Killiks.
Taking down that Killik leader must have been quite a fight. Thing was huge.
Well, when you have the Force as an ally, you find that size has not... Wait a minute, what giant bug?
If that thing eats us, you're fired.
Man, I hate when you have to interview for the job that you already have. Damn, what kind of irony would it be if that thing stepped on me?
You all right, Doctor?
Don't worry about me. The Death Mark is in enemy hands. You must warn Count Alda.
Oh yeah, and why don't I warn the Jedi Temple the Sith are going to attack? Listen, old news, I'm afraid that your Death Mark has, shockingly, marked someone for death already.
Have you met a woman calling herself Elena Hark?
Oh, I'm not going to like this punchline, am I?
Elena's a spy. She helped the Sith steal the Death Mark, and now she's targeting people with it.
She could have marked dozens of people by now. The weapon's laser can kill them at any time, anywhere.
Not if we cut its power. The laser's still tied into the local energy grid, right?
What? How does that even work? I thought that the thing must be in orbit because, you know, the beam came straight down from the sky, as opposed to, say, from nearby. Would you bounce it off the moon or something? All right, fine. You know, I get it. Fuck geometry. We'll go and stop the laser from falling from the sky by shutting off the power supply next door. So we fight our way through more bugs until the Sith calls up to complain about us trying to shut the power down.
Well, well. The Jedi who killed Thomas back on Coruscant. I'd rather if you didn't shut down my laser's power stations. I need them. I have so many targets waiting to be vaporized. Who's next? The farm girl or the old colonel?
Gosh, I was all ready to stop you when you were performing targeted assassinations. But now that you're planning to just kill people at random, why would I possibly stop you? Oh yeah, because it's evil.
Oh dear. I'm afraid the farm girl didn't make it. I wonder how long the old colonel will survive. I can kill anyone I like, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have a lovely day.
That's not true. I can shut the power down. All I need to do is unplug the 2,000-mile-long extension cord that's running your satellite.
Determined to spoil my fun, aren't you? Now I have to set up new power stations where you can't reach. At most, you've bought yourself a few hours. Proud of yourself?
This guy's got a real fusion of I'm a complete psychopath and I'm the great aunt that the court says you must live with now that your parents have died.
I deactivated the laser's power stations, but Darth Angrel's apprentice contacted me. Dozens of innocent people are targets of the Death Mark.
We need to end this before he brings that laser back online. This is Win Organa, chief negotiator of the peace talks to end this war.
Elena Hark had free run of Organa Palace. Everyone there could be a target, including me.
Oh man, if I were you, my stomach would drop out of my asshole.
However, my spies report a woman matching her description entered House Thul's compound.
House Thul. They support the Empire.
Yes, but Duke Thul openly advocates the peace process. I thought he was sincere.
What if the Sith want to silence him?
That'd be a pretty effective 1-2 punch. Not only would this wind up removing the person most inclined for peace, but it would also make people think that the Republic was behind it because, you know, it's our death ray. So, as ridiculous as this plan is, I must fight my way through House Thul in order to convince House Thul that peace is the only answer. That'll be the job for me and Kira, though. He's going to head off and deal with the Sith directly. Well, we have enough common sense not to head through the front door, so we head around back, fighting our way through Thul forces and then getting inside. Thankfully, no bugs this time. Not that I'm prejudiced against bugs or anything, it's just I don't like fighting something that has twice as many arms as I do.
Be reasonable, Duke. Your calls for peace are misguided, unnecessary. Lord Nefarad wants what's best for House Thul. Unconditional victory.
And all he asks is that I betray Organa. Who the skies are you?
Believe it or not, a fellow ambassador of peace. As you can tell by the trail of bodies I've left in my wake. Elena denies that she's going to mark him to be blasted with a death ray and says that we're assassins sent here to kill him. Which admittedly does sound a lot more plausible than my story.
Be warned, I am prepared to kill you. Lord Nefarid trained me to fight a Jedi.
What about 2 Jedi?
Oh man, look at that face. I haven't seen her make that face since C2N2 reprogrammed the food dispensers because he thought she was getting too fat. No, seriously, in the game he actually says that. He doesn't exactly say it's her, he just says, oh, some of your companions are looking that fat. But come on, she is literally the only companion I have that's not a robot. We could read between the lines. I'm starting to wonder if the next time we head back, he's going to put a sign over the entrance to the ship saying no fat chicks. Well, after all that stuff about being able to take down a Jedi, she's really annoyed that we kick her ass. And turns out that, yeah, yours truly has been marked with the death mark. I so saw this coming.
I've just rendered the targeting device non-functional.
Then we've heard enough from you.
Oh, man. I know we softened her up already, but still, if a peacemaker who's a member of the royal family can just lay you out with one punch, that doesn't tell me you were trained to fight Jedi. That tells me you were trained to be thrown at Jedi while the Sith runs away.
Blasted woman has doomed us both. Unless we work together.
If you've got a plan to stop Lord Nefarid, let's hear it.
It's simple. Kill him before he kills us.
Yeah, that really doesn't rise to the level of what I consider to be a plan. Now I'm really understanding why you thought peace was a better alternative than trying to come up with a clever way to win this war. Well, one thing you can do is tell us that the Sith has gone full James Bond villain, complete with a mountain lair from which he is striking. So we're going to have to storm that if we're going to deal with him before we get vaporized by the death ray.
Master Orgus, the Deathmark device is destroyed, but I was scanned by it. Darth Angrel's apprentice is targeting me. I'm on my way to his stronghold. Where are you?
Too far to help. I misled you back at the camp.
I haven't been searching for the apprentice. I've been hunting Darth Angrel, and I just found his cruiser.
Oh, well, now I feel even more nervous than I was already. You know, since arriving here, no one has been able to tell me one true thing about what's been going on with you, including you, I might add. I'm afraid by the time this is done, we're going to find out that you're actually just 6 Ugnaughts in a suit.
The cruiser's at the edge of the system, outside the reach of planetary sensors. It's about to jump for hyperspace. This may be our only shot at stopping him. I'm boarding that cruiser. Just wanted someone to know. In case.
Very prudent decision, Master, especially since you've been keeping this a secret from everyone. I will make sure, if anything happens to you, that the information gets back to the Jedi Council. No problem. Now, if you'll excuse me, the only person who knows your secret is about to be shot by an orbiting death ray. So, step 1 of what I'm going to generously call the plan is to breach the perimeter of the mountain stronghold. Step 2 is that once inside, we're going to battle past his henchmen until we find the Sith himself, so we can do the final step, yes, defeat him. You might be saying, well, see, that's a plan, to which I say, assuming that I am nigh unstoppable isn't really a plan. Oh, by the way, that little swirling there, that's not the death mark. I'm doing that. There's something that I probably should have mentioned before now, but I haven't. When the Legacy system was introduced, it allowed benefits if you were to complete an entire class playthrough. One of those was race. It's the reason that Rex Dart was able to be a Miraluka despite being on the Imperial side. If you complete a class story with a Miraluka on the Republic side, you can unlock it for the Imperial side. The concept being that they are now a part of the family. Well, another benefit, if you have a companion present, you can turn on a heroic mode. And during that time, not only are you regenerating health for several minutes, which, can be helpful if you get into a bit of a bind, but every class that you have completed, you unlock a special ability. Since I've been doing this for a long time, I've got all 8 of them here. So the thing I blasted them with is essentially an orbital attack that I got from completing the agent story. And it should be noted that the classes each have one, even the ones that have a mirror on the other side. So even though I have the Jedi Knight here, his is different than the Sith Warriors would be. They both give you a different legacy ability. So the counterpart of the agent is the smuggler. So while the agent gives you the ability to cause an orbital strike, the smuggler allows you to kick someone in the balls. Yeah, I can totally see why those are the same things. One particularly weird one is the bounty hunter. It's a flamethrower. Now, it's certainly not weird that that's what it would be. After all, it's an iconic part of the whole Mandalorian armor thing. In fact, it is so bounty hunter that it is the actual icon in the game representing a bounty hunter. It is that much associated with being a bounty hunter. So you'd be forgiven if you assumed that as a bounty hunter player, you could actually use a wrist flamethrower. You cannot. It was removed from the game for reasons that, well, explain why every time a game is simplified, people get angry. This is like a perfect example of why that would happen. I don't want to get into it yet, but rest assured, before this video is up, I'm going to get into it. I know I probably should have done this on the Bounty Hunter video, but frankly, it was too painful to think about. I needed a bit of distance there. So yes, the only time that the bounty hunter is capable of using the flamethrower is the exact same circumstances that, say, the Jedi Knight can use the flamethrower. Basically, if the films had been run the same way as this game is, then you would say, who's more likely to hit me with a flamethrower from up their sleeve? This bounty hunter who is so great that he is the template for an entire army? Or this librarian? Gosh, you know what? It's probably equally likely. Anyway, we should probably get back to dealing with the Sith. Hey, hello? We're here for our final climactic confrontation. If you can be arsed to show up. If you don't mind, I do have other things that I could be doing right now.
You truly are a stubborn one. Won't be satisfied until you've completely inconvenienced me, will you?
This is big talk from you who's hiding right now. I've never known a Sith to try to win a duel via filibuster.
My master is transmitting the most amusing holo message right now. You really should watch it with me.
Assaulting my cruiser alone. Very careless of you, August Din.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we should have teamed up to take down the Death Mark and then head up to the ship together. I don't want a Monday morning quarterback or anything, but that does seem like that should have been the right play from the start.
There is no death. There is only the Force.
If there is no death, where is my son?
I was going to say live and learn, but apparently not.
And now I'll finish you. After all, you can't fight what you can't see.
The Force will guide me. You won't escape.
Let's be done with this. I have a long list of people to kill. Oh, I almost forgot. The Death Mark laser is finally back online. And it's tracking you.
You know, no one ever told me that being an agent of peace meant you're going to fight an invisible bad guy while being shot at by an orbiting laser. That's it? Okay, either I just beat a Doombot, or else this guy's kind of shit. That's probably it. Let's go stop the orbiting death ray from shooting at me, alright? Hey buddy, look, I realize this is your job and maybe you take it seriously, but I just defeated the Sith who has been dogging me the entire planet, and we didn't even have a closing scene, so After that, you're just kind of an anticlimax. Maybe just step aside and let me shut this thing down.
The Death Mark has been destroyed. Your people are safe.
I will inform Organa Palace immediately. We are forever in your debt. Duke Thule sent us the spy Elena as a show of good faith. She's to stand trial for her crimes. Her testimony will expose the Empire for what it is. No house will ally with them after this.
Oh, my sweet summer child. You are adorable. So we better get back to the ship and tell General Varsuthra what up.
General, the Death Mark has been destroyed, and I have news about Master Orgus.
Darth Angral broadcast Orgus's execution over the holonet, left the body floating in space for us to find. A Republic shuttle has just recovered the remains from the edge of the Alderaan system. I'm sorry.
Thanks. You should probably go collect his freeze-dried remains so we can get on with things, huh? Well, it turned out that my master had gone over there knowing he might die. The whole purpose of the mission was to put a tracking device on Darth Angral's ship so that if he left before we finished on Alderaan, we could track him and deal with him at some point in the near future. Well, damn good thing that he did that, because we've tracked him to the Euphrates system, where we've got a major Republic farming planet. Its destruction would naturally lead to starvation, so looks like we're heading to the Euphrates system.
No sign of Darth Angral, but Euphrates. I saw this planet once, with Master Kawix. It used to be green.
General, I've arrived at Euphrates. There's no sign of Angral, but the planet... See for yourself.
Receiving your sensor readings. Stand by.
Euphrates' atmosphere looks like it's on fire. What could have done that?
Damage consistent with designs recovered on Ord Mantell. The Desolator Weapon.
Oh, really? So it turns out that when you take a whole bunch of doomsday weapons and add them up, you get doomsday. Who could have seen that coming?
Euphrates had millions of citizens. Whole continents of farmlands. All that life extinguished. The scale of this it's unthinkable.
You remember that whole thing you said about making these weapons to honor the fallen Jedi? Well, thanks for that. This is really the memorial we were hoping for. Kira picks up a distress signal from the other side of the planet.
We're under attack. Imperial commandos have boarded us. Help! It's one of ours. The crew may know what happened here.
No more of our people die today. Kira, plot an intercept course.
Already done, Master. Strap yourselves in.
Good. There is no emotion. There is peace. The piece of my foot that I'm shoving up there... Shit, that sounded so much more badass in my head. Well, at least we were able to board the ship so we could eliminate all the commandos and finally talk to the grateful natives about what's been happening.
Euphrates was trapped inside an energy field. Some starships tried to flee, but their engines failed before they could leave the atmosphere.
No one escaped. Every ship that tried crashed back onto the surface. I saw Euphrates' atmosphere catch fire. Horrific destruction. Flames consumed the planet. Everything turned to smoke and ash in seconds.
You know, it's at moments like this when you're looking at the burnt cinder that's all that remains of a thriving planet of millions, thanks to a device that the Republic itself built, that you really, really cherish the fact that as a Jedi, you don't pay taxes. You know, it's really hard to sign that check when you know it could be used to reduce one of our own planets to ash. Well, shockingly, it seems that there is a pocket of survivors down there, but they're going to need help. We're obviously not equipped to do that kind of a thing, but this ship could. And from what I can gather, the giant is the captain, and the green one's like the first mate or something like that. The captain can do what he wants, but the green one is speaking on behalf of the crew, and the crew would probably want to see something done. The captain doesn't want to take any chances, though, by going down there. So as a result, she tries to persuade me to persuade him to do it anyway, whereas he tries to bribe me. That makes the choice easy.
Render aid to anyone you find. I promise you won't be abandoned down there.
This is insane. I'm taking an escape pod off this lunatic asylum.
Okay, well, just be careful where you aim that. I guarantee the escape pod is not going to have a better chance of landing than this ship is.
I rescued the Daybreaker, General. I have sensor logs of Angrel's attack. However, the crew landed on Euphrates to help possible survivors. They're trapped.
We'll get them back somehow, but Angrel is our first priority.
That's true. This guy's a Sith. Sooner or later, he's going to get the idea of turning this on the Jedi on Tython.
Wait! We're getting another emergency alert from Tython. Relaying it now.
Under attack by Darth Angrel. Launching defense fighters. Angrel's battlecruiser deploying energy weapon. Our ship can't escape Tython's atmosphere. We're trapped.
You know, they say Jedi can see the future, but I personally think I'm just really jaded by now.
The Desolator needs time to work. The Jedi may be trapped on Tython, but you're not. You could board Angrel's battlecruiser, disable the weapon before it fires.
Oh, yeah, no, I got this. Me and Kira versus everyone on board Darth Angrel's flagship. Yeah. I won't bring along the droid, though, because I want to make this fair.
Disarming the Desolator weapon will necessitate overloading at least 3 shielded reactor relays. No simple task.
General, Doctor, my team's moving out. We'll save Tython, or die trying.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but that second one seems the more likely. So we board the ship and proceed to destroy reactors on our way to go for our final confrontation. This is probably going to take a little while, so why don't we pass the time with me complaining about the flamethrowers some more. I have to say there is a bit of a method to their madness, but in the end it's still just madness. Because I know some of you watch these videos but don't actually play the game yourself, let me explain the rationale behind this bizarre decision. See, the original concept of the game was that you would pick one of the 4 classes on your side of the Force, and then at level 10, you would evolve that class into one of 2 advanced classes. And those advanced classes usually differed by how exactly you were going to go about your gameplay style. For example, if you take the Imperial Agent, your choices were Operative or Sniper. Sniper, as the name suggests, is attacking from range. The Operative attacks up close. They have short-range blasters, they have vibroblades, and things along those general lines. The Sith Inquisitor has the Assassin or the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer stands far away and blasts with lightning or other kind of deadly force stuff, whereas the Assassin cloaks themselves and uses a double-bladed lightsaber. They have a limited range attack, but not much. Well, with the Bounty Hunter, you have either the Power Tech or the Mercenary. The Mercenary attacks from range. The Power Tech gets right up close. So far, so good. Now, what they had was they had some abilities that were in the base class and some abilities that were in the advanced class. And so consequently, some abilities could be used by either advanced class. Force Lightning, for example, could be used by either an Assassin or a Sorcerer. And naturally, you would want that because Force Lightning is such an iconic ability of being a Sith Inquisitor, of having that ability to channel the Force directly into an electrical attack. Likewise, the Bounty Hunter's ability was that base characteristic of all bounty hunters, the flamethrower. In MMOs, all attacks can basically be separated into 3 categories. It basically has to do with how the damage takes place. The types are instantaneous, damage over time, and channeled. Instantaneous is exactly what it sounds like. I do an attack, and you immediately feel the damage from it, and then it's over. For example, I shoot you with a gun. That's an instantaneous attack. Then you get hit by a bullet, and then it hurts to be shot. A damage over time is when the damage doesn't immediately take place all at once. When you get hit by the attack, you keep getting damaged by it for a while. in game terms usually like a half second or a second or maybe even 2 seconds. And during that time, once you've launched the attack, you don't have to just stand there. You could do other things. Think of it like someone throwing a jar of acid at you. The minute that the jar hits you and shatters and sprays you with the acid inside, you've been hit. But the acid doesn't attack you right away. It takes time to do that. You could be doing other things. You could be dead for all it matters. The attack will continue to happen over time. The third kind, channeled, is like a combination there. You are dealing the damage, but you're actively involved in that. Think of that as being like force lightning. I'm shooting electricity out of my fingers, and you're getting zapped by it. You're continuing to get zapped because I'm continuing to do it. And I can't do anything else while I'm zapping you. I'm a little busy right now. So, this is where video game maker logic comes into it. Remember, the wrist flamethrower is such an iconic part of being a bounty hunter. It is actually the symbol of what being a bounty hunter is in the game. But they looked at streamlining things, making it simpler. There's too many abilities. Let's take away the stuff that people don't need to have. And they looked at what the flamethrower is. It is simultaneously a short range and channeled attack. If you played a mercenary, you know they've got channeled attacks. Some of them take a little bit of time to charge up, but a lot of them are like, shoot both your blasters at once over time. It's a channeled attack. You want to attack a whole group, you drop that down, you just shoot everything in there, just back and forth. So lots of channeled attacks there. But mercenaries attack at range. Now, when you're a power tech, you're getting right up close and personal with people. So you don't have time for channeled attacks. People can move out of the way while you're doing it. So what you want to do is have the power techs not have any channeled attacks and not have the mercenaries have any short range attacks. Now here's the thing about a logical chain. If you reach the end and the result doesn't stand up to common sense, then you have either done one of two things. Something brilliant or something stupid. So let's see what their conclusion is and see which of these two it might be. They've said, we should symbolize the bounty hunter with the flamethrower because it so represents what the bounty hunter does. In fact, it represents what the bounty hunter does so much, we should make damn sure they never actually use one. This is like if you're doing some kind of an interview with Neil Armstrong, and in the set you have a great big blown up picture of the moon. You play Man on the Moon when you come out, and you're even wearing moon boots. And then, having the first man who walked on the moon with you and called attention to that fact, you then spend the entirety of it asking him what it's like to live in Ohio. If you're wondering why I'm constantly going off on this kind of a tangent, welcome, and I hope you enjoy my show. But if you're still curious, I'm going to go off in greater detail later on so that you can really understand where this frustration lies.
You will not steal my victory. Not now. I have sacrificed too much for this. I will avenge my son on you and all the Jedi.
The frustrating thing about being a Jedi is that you are trained to believe that everybody has a chance to redeem themselves, and you believe deep down that that's true. Yet you find yourself constantly in situations where you're up against a madman who has his finger on a button that will destroy a planet, boasting of his pending vengeance, and the first thing you're supposed to do, according to the manual, is ask him if he wouldn't consider switching sides.
I foresaw this confrontation. I welcome it. Today I forge a new era for the Sith, one where the Jedi are finally extinct.
Finish this, Angrel. I command it.
Oh man, I have had this nightmare before. Seriously, this could not be more my nightmare unless Kira was beating me with a lightsaber that was also a dick.
The Emperor...
You are his child. His eyes, his ears, his weapon to command. Come, child, fight by my side. It's where you belong.
I'd rather jump out an airlock naked.
Okay, weird. That was another nightmare I had.
Fight the Emperor's control. Remember who you are.
I feel him in my thoughts. We have to end this fast.
If you will not serve, you will die. For Tarnis.
You can try, Angrel, but you're going to learn vengeance isn't enough. In the end, you're fighting for the dead, while I'm fighting for the living. Plus, I also put in for a year's subscription with HBO Max. I am not going to check out when I've got a commitment like that. Well, that is an impressive promotion there, Kira, from companion to first act boss. I'd congratulate you, except you're trying to kill me.
Angrel's dead, and this battlecruiser's not far behind him.
Disappointing. Angrel was useful. This child must learn her place. And so will you.
Yeah, my place is shoving my foot up your ass. Your actual ass, not Kira's ass. I'm not shoving it up her ass. My foot, anyway. Or anything else for that matter. Look, I'm a Jedi. We don't do that sort of thing. I'm a master of the light side of the Force.
I see futures in you. Futures I will not allow. Your future ends here.
Yeah, nice try, except it's clear that Kira is not a willing vessel for him. So he's not only fighting me, he's fighting her while fighting me.
This child is unfinished, weak. I will make her strong. Now you will die. Even if my child must die with you.
No, I won't kill for you.
That's right, Kira. You show that third-rate exorcist bad guy who's the real boss around here.
He's gone. I won. I'm finally free.
Yeah, that went much quicker than I thought it'd be. I thought with the whole locked-off mind stuff, we'd have to go on a bunch of trips and stuff to unlock your past, but it turns out all the Emperor was doing was implanting cheat codes in your head. Well, this ship is coming apart at the seams, so let's get out of here, and then we'll tell everybody it's all right. I mean, I know they'd all rather me tell them right now, but, well, the way the ship is malfunctioning, I'm nervous that turning on the radio will accidentally activate the planet-destroying weapon, and that would kind of ruin what we set out to achieve here. Plus, you never bounce back from that kind of thing. No one ever committed genocide and got away with it because they said, oopsie.
When I saw Angrel's battlecruiser explode, I feared the worst.
Good to see you, Master SWTOR. Everyone safe down there?
We are now, thanks to you. Please come to the surface. Bring your Padawan to the council chambers. We all have much to discuss.
I'm hoping that's much as in good things and not much as in bad things. Now, it's really not the time for us to go glasses half empty on what happened with Kira out there.
Welcome home. The Jedi owe you a debt of gratitude we can never repay.
If Jedi wore Republic medals, your robe would be covered in them.
Only wish Master Orgus could share in this victory.
It is tragic, but a wise man once said that so long as someone remembers your name, then you are never truly gone. Now, I don't remember who said it. It's just some fucking dead guy. Who cares? Besides giving me my much-deserved pat on the back, Kira is promoted to the rank of Jedi Knight. After all, she did handle everything that got thrown at her and still managed to resist the Emperor. Though he still kind of left a funk behind there. You go shower. You smell like old onions and gym socks.
The danger to Tython is over, but we're getting fresh reports of hostilities all over the galaxy. Another war with the Empire seems inevitable.
Darth Angrel was the spark that lit the flame. Even in failure, he inspired the Sith to violence.
You know, after all the hard work, I really did believe everyone when they talked about how great this victory was, but then every word that follows that statement makes it sound worse and worse, like I didn't do shit. I mean, The main bad guy is still at large. The Emperor that took over Kira is still out there. The bad guy that I did manage to defeat turns out inspired others to take up the cause. So I've traded one madman for an army of them. But we stopped the Desolator. Yeah, great. We eventually managed to destroy the weapon that was based on the very weapons that we designed. Our people died because of the things we built to try to protect them. Forget the uniforms the Republic currently has out there. They should just consist of a t-shirt that says, "I am a cautionary tale." You know what? I need a break. I'm going to head back up to the ship and try not to think about Sith craziness for 5 minutes.
The Force is with you, now and always.
Master Orgus?
His power is growing. Only you can stop him. You must go to Tatooine.
Aw, man, this right here, this is my life if you want to boil it down to 5 seconds. I have an encounter with the great beyond, a spiritual, supernatural experience, and it's ordered to give me an errand to run. I bet if God spoke to me through a burning bush, it'd be to tell me to mow the lawn.
A starship crashed in a desert canyon. Use the Force. Find it.
Who were you talking to? The holocom's not even on.
Oh, you'll love this. My master is dead and still bossing me around.
What did Master Orgus say to you?
We gotta go back to Tatooine. Apparently there's a ship there or something we've got to go to and probably pick up his dry cleaning or something. So since we gotta fly all the way to Tatooine, land, and then head out into the desert to find one ship out there, why don't I tell you more about the things that piss me off? Somehow, my mind is in that headspace at the moment. So I already explained why the bounty hunter lost his flamethrower, but you should know it's not the only class that this happened to. The Force Lightning, as I mentioned, is the very symbol of what it is to be a Sith Inquisitor, and sorcerers do have that, because it is a channeled ability, and sorcerers are ranged. And it's a long enough ability that you can get away with it from all the way across a room. But, because it's channeled, it got taken away from the assassins, because those are up-close and personal characters, and they can't very well have a channeled ability. No, they just zap really fast. Zap, and that's it. So once again, you have the iconic ability as your very symbol that you can't actually do. Now, absurdly, the inverse of it remains true. You can hit things as a Sith sorcerer with your lightsaber, even though that is an up-close attack rather than a ranged attack. You don't get to throw your lightsaber if you are a Sith sorcerer. But there's no reason to ever hit anything with your lightsaber. You literally just carry it around with you, and it's used to illustrate the fact that you are blocking strikes. But you never actually hit anyone with your lightsaber. They did have for a little while a special ability you could get that would upgrade your ability to hit things with a lightsaber as a sorcerer, but then they took that away because they figured, you'll never have a reason to do that. Why give someone a reason to want to hit someone with a lightsaber? After all, it's not as if this is some kind of sci-fi setting where having some cool ability like that would be great, huh? No. It's a glorified shield. Now, the reason why I've gone off on this is because it is but a symptom of a larger problem I've had with the combat in the game for a long while, which is that the combat is bottom-up rather than top-down these days. If you didn't see my videos on Magic the Gathering, I'll explain. Top-down is taking an idea and turning it into a game mechanic. Bottom-up is taking a game mechanic and turning it into a way to think of that mechanic. So when I go to a game, I want my combat to be top-down. I want to be able to go in there and feel that I am doing what my character would do, and have the ability to do that. Now, if I go into a Star Wars game, I want to be able to do the things that certain Star Wars type characters can do, that has been demonstrated. If I'm a master of the dark side, I want to do things that I have seen Palpatine, master of the dark side, do. I've seen him force choke people. I've seen him shoot lightning at people. I've seen him fight with his lightsaber. Well, guess what? There is no way in this game to have all of those abilities. You can have some, but not all. Now, this has been a thing in the game since the beginning, and that was bad enough, knowing that I had to compromise on what my characters can do for the sake of what the bottom-up design of the combat does. But now they're taking away iconic abilities from the characters because they want to both simplify and keep their bottom-up design. So you lose out on the things that are making it a Star Wars combat experience. So guess what? I don't want to do the combat parts anymore. I don't want to slog through endless numbers of these pitiful little wretches when I should be excited at the chance to take on pitiful little wretches. I want to feel the way Vader must have felt at the end of Rogue One when he was heading up there as an absolute badass. That I should be excited for every opportunity to do that. But no, it's all mechanics. It's all trying to get your maximized damage per second. I get that it's an MMO, and I get why people want to have it that way for their endgame combat, and why they have to balance it for the player versus player stuff. I get it all. But I'm telling you, that's what makes this game a deficient experience if you come into it wanting to experience the thrill of Star Wars as a game, rather than just as lore plus a mechanical exercise. So finally, I tracked the ship down, but there are 3 Sith around. So I'm going to have to deal with them before I can help the pilot out. I mean, I doubt they're here to help. Very few Sith run AAA.
I know your face. The one who defeated Darth Angral, the hero of Tython.
That's Heroes of Tython. I fought Darth Angral too.
Wow, Kira, get bumped up to Jedi Knight and suddenly you think you should be handing out autographs. Anyway, I explained to this guy that we came to his rescue because we were told to by a ghost. And naturally, he completely believes us.
The spirit of Master Orgus Din sent my rescuer. I believe you know him.
The Force wants our mission to succeed, Master Satele. This is proof.
I knew he was the nexus of our fates, but events are transpiring faster than I foresaw.
This is the moment when I find out I am simultaneously extremely important and not important enough to be told what's going on. Instead, I'm given these sensor logs that I have to get back to the Council, and then they promise they'll explain everything to me.
This burden is now yours. Guard it with your life.
I understand Amazon gives that same speech to their delivery drivers every morning. Well, since I've got to fly all the way back to Tython, I may as well close out this part with my final comment on the combat. I didn't actually want to have to close it out with this, but I have to, because you see, everything I told you about the flamethrower was written on the assumption that I was going to talk about Jedi Knight in 2021. But things didn't work out, and so I wound up pushing the entirety of it to 2022. Well, lo and behold, in Update 7.0, which came out in February, they gave the bounty hunter back the flamethrower. Sort of. See, if you're willing to play a certain specific class, and then choose a certain specific tree in that class, and then choose a specific option in that tree, then you get the flamethrower back. But it's not nothing, because that's a package deal. You can't say, okay, I'll jump through these hoops and get it. You have to choose this and commit to it if you want to keep that ability. And the worst part is, in this particular case, is that this is the tanking tree that they've put it in. If you want to do damage, well, you have to choose the tanking tree anyway. So people, if you do group up with me and I'm playing a bounty hunter, then one of 2 things are going to happen. You're either going to have a shitty DPS, because I'm in the tanking tree, or you're going to have a shitty tank, because I'd rather be DPSing. It just boggles the mind. In what world does it make sense to say, well, you can either play in a way that fits your playstyle, or You can have this fun toy, but you're not allowed to have both. Why, if you were to have both, you might start enjoying our game, and we can't have that bullshit. Similar thing has happened with the Sith Inquisitor. You no longer can have Force lightning. If you're an assassin, only a sorcerer can have that. And again, the arguments are, oh, you don't need that ability because it's not very good. Well, here's a thought. How about if instead of taking away something fun, you make it so that it's good? Radical idea, I know, but why not give it a try? So what made me inclined to include all of this anyway, despite the change, was I actually started on 7.0. I did the very first mission that you're supposed to do, and I haven't gone back to it since. Not because I don't like the story, but I realized how much the combat just plain sucks. It was so boring. And I've never encountered that in any other MMO I've played. They've all worked fine on balancing their stuff. And yet, they found a way to make it fun, too. Why, it's almost as if it's a game. I'm not saying that I disapprove of them focusing on PvP and endgame content. Those are vital things for the game, true. But they've forgotten the fact that it's an RPG, too. And the combat doesn't support RPG players. People who come in here to experience what Star Wars is. Instead, what the game has now become is a boring slog interrupted by the occasional cutscene. And damn it, it deserves more.